Hello there, welcome to another layout update in Simon's Shed. Hope you've all had a good summer. I've been having a little bit of a break from the layout and from the hobby in general, just because, you know, family holiday and it's been the summer, there's been things to do outside, so it's always good to have a little break and come back refreshed. So that is the theme of this update, sort of getting stuck back in to building the Severn Valley Railway. So we're going to start with a bit of a recap on where we're at and tell you about my sort of immediate plans of what to do next, really. So yeah, let's get back onto it. Okay, quick recap in terms of where we are. So we're starting over here at Arley, and we'd started on a couple of bits of base for the scenery and obviously a bit of static grass for the fields that are going to go here below Arley. And obviously we've got the track, and I'd done one side of the platform and the bridge. So I'm trying to find things that I can do without buying anything. Obviously use everything up first. So I've got some ballast left. So one of the jobs I can do is perhaps ballast some or all of the Arley station track. But really, I think it's come to the time where I just need to start sticking stuff down permanently. Like this piece is obviously just temporarily been placed here because I was thinking I was going to sort of remove it and work on it, but to be honest, it's got to the point where it's kind of stopping me carrying on that way because nothing's fixed down this way, which leads me on to this little bit of scenery, which will be sort of behind the station, just sloping up, a sort of field sloping up, and obviously that's not a very realistic back scene. So let me talk about what I'm going to put there in terms of the back scene. Okay, here we are at Arley. I'll get Mr. Man dragged onto Street View. And so here's the station. And in terms of the layout, we'll be looking up this way. So for the back scene, what I'm trying to do is get something a little bit like this, which is just a field sloping upwards, and then obviously you just see sky. So briefly pondered trying to somehow photograph this myself, but just logistically to get myself in the right place and get a photo along a little bit further along at each point that's long enough to stitch together for a back scene, and then stitching it all together myself, I think it's going to be a nightmare. So had a quick look around to see if there's anything off the shelf, and came up with this from ID Back Scenes as part of the Into the Town series. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let's go on to the other screen. Yeah, essentially we have a view of a field with some trees on it disappearing into the sky. So I think that sort of matches up pretty well. I mean, these buildings are sheds rather than houses that are at Arley, but I think that's going to be pretty good, and it comes in, rather than me stitching together bits of A4, it comes in 10 feet in 2 sections, so it should be long enough to go down the side of the shed, and that'll do that part of the back scene for sort of behind Arley and off into the Severn Valley. So I'll get that ordered. So to get that back seam in there, obviously it needs something to sit on. So I'm not going to sort of finalise this bit. What I am going to do, and I have mentioned this before, is I asked for suggestions, and the suggestion I got was some thin plywood to cover all of the walls that are not covered. And to be honest, I might redo this end as well, so it all matches, but we'll see. So yeah, next thing I need to do is order some thin plywood and get all this covered up, and that will give me something to stick a back scene on, and it'll give me something to hang pictures on and it'll look a bit nicer in the videos in terms of the backdrop. And I think I'm going to do that all the way around, and that leads me back to here. So once that plywood is stuck on that wall, I can then finalise this bit and we can move on. So right now I'm going to order some big sheets of plywood. Okay, plywood ordered. So I'm sure it said next day delivery at the start of the order process, but I could only select a date over a week in advance, so that's probably going to have to wait till the next layout update to show you that, but in the meantime I'll get on with some other stuff. Okay, there's now quite a lot of PVA underneath this piece of scenery. So yeah, it's time to get stuck in and start messing around at the edges and stick some things down permanently. So yeah, there's a board under here, so that's got a load of PVA on it, and it's held at the edges here, and there's like every now and again there's a little bit of foam, that Celotex stuff supporting it, so that's all been glued, so it shouldn't go anywhere when that's dried. So next, I think, seeing as I just found a little paintbrush over there, and we've got some ballast here, I might remind myself how on earth you do track ballasting, because I haven't done that for a while. I'll probably start over here, just here, because I want to practice, and that bit won't actually be seen. It's not part of the scenery because, again, this goes back to the plywood that I need to order. There'll be a board sort of across here, so against the side of this basically, coming across here, and that is the sort of end of the scenery, which is the end of the platform at Arley. So yeah, I'll start over here just to get my eye in and do a bit of ballasting for the first time in a while. So not got very far, but I was just brushing a little bit of the ballast along this track. Obviously I've not put any glue down yet on top of it. I'm sure you already know, but if you are new, you just water down PVA and add a drop of washing up liquid and sort of syringe that over the top is the usual way of doing it. And then I got to here and thought, that doesn't look very realistic. I'd completely forgotten about that. So I've laid all the track, but I haven't put the sort of missing sleepers back in where the joins are. So yeah, that's another little job that I can do. Well, that's a fiddly job. So I started off with this sleeper, cutting, essentially cutting off the ends and cutting off the middle bit, and then with tweezers sort of placing the end on there and the middle bit in there and trying to glue it on, and it sort of worked, but took a long time and it's difficult to get it level with the rest of the sleepers. So I thought there must be a better way, and ended up sort of stripping off enough of the plastic, so taking the rails out and getting a little file and just sort of filing along here to make this, to open up this gap, and managed to get 3 in a row here shoved under there at the same time. And then I've obviously wedged some new foam underneath to sort of bring them back up to the right height. But if anyone knows a better way of doing that, then please let me know, because it's a very fiddly job. So once the sort of ballast is on top of that, it should be pretty well hidden. So yeah, now we can crack on with a bit more ballasting. Oh well, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I was just putting the extra sleepers under there, and one of the insulated joiners popped out. So I was trying to put that back in, and then the other track popped out as well. So got to try and get all that back connected up together. It's always the most difficult one to do, the last one that joins the whole loop together, because if you cut it accurately, then by definition to get it past the end of the rail joiner, you're going to have to sort of bend it up out of the way to make it short enough to slide on. So that's going to be at least 20 minutes of fiddling around with that, but we'll get it done and get it working again. So that was less than a minute, and that just slotted straight back in, which was surprising. So obviously I'm now waiting to glue the track back down and wait for that to dry. So I guess I'll move to that end and start ballasting over there. Also, this is now all dried and it's pretty solidly stuck down, so eventually we can carry on that way with some more. I've got a bit more shaper sheet and plaster bandage, and I've also got some carving plaster and some plaster that goes on top of this to have an experiment with too. So let's keep going. Just had a thought as I was putting the, now that I've fixed this back together, and I've obviously put a load of ballast on here. Just let me turn the heater off, it's making a racket. Before I actually glue the ballast down, is there anything I need to think about? And it turns out, yes there is, because at Arley, just after the bridge, there is a little wooden walkway. So actually I need to slice a rail or two, a sleeper or two out of there, and there needs to be a little walkway across, a little sort of wooden plank walkway. So I found a bit of scrap wood and just sort of carved some grooves in it to try and make it look like planks, and painted it with a bit of Woodland Scenics earth colours, a bit of brown and grey, I think slate grey and burnt umber, and yeah, that's come up pretty well. So I've got a few of those to stick down in various places. Basically there's one at each end of the platform, and there's one in the middle, which is what these yellow bits of post-it note are for. So yeah, here I don't actually have to stick in that many missing sleepers, because now I've got a bit of a walkway going across. Obviously needs a bit either side, but what I did then was put the platform back down in the right place, so that'll be right at the end of the platform, like that. And you can see here, because I've re-glued this track, we've now, it must have been in a different place, because we've now got a huge gap there and a much more realistic gap for the rest of it. So I'm not going to make the whole platform again, so what I've done is levered up the track, and I've got it so that I can move it again, but obviously there's now a load of ballast under it. So again, we're going to have to go back a step or two. I think I'm just going to hoover the ballast back up because it's going to get really messy if I start trying to glue this back down with the ballast there. If it goes wrong, there's going to be ballast stuck everywhere, so I'm going to be patient and do it properly. Get a hoover with something over the end of the nozzle so I can actually reuse the ballast and collect it all up. But yeah, since this is proving to be a bit fiddlier and taking a lot longer than I thought, I think I'm gonna, well, I've got one more thing to show you in the update, just a little a bit of a way of tidying up the shed, but apart from that, I'm just going to show you what I'm planning for the station platform details, which is what this sort of leads on to. You know, these are the details on the track. So what are the rest of the details that I've been looking at for the sort of platform and so on. So I'll show you that and then show you the last thing, and I think we'll leave it there for this update. So yes, that did lead me on to thinking about detailing, and really want to try and get as much of the detail that is there in real life into the model. I think that really sort of brings it to life. So I'm just going to watch a brief bit of this video, because you can't put too much of other people's videos because of copyright, but just a quick clip. And do check out Sharpo's World. It's been very helpful to me because there's loads of SVR videos on there. But just for example, as we come into Arley here, you know, things like benches, signs, we've got platform lights, we've got station signs, and old luggage and all kinds of stuff. There's fire buckets there, more luggage, benches. So yeah, I've been scouring around trying to find things like engage benches and milk churns, sack trucks and trolleys and luggage, and station lights as close as I can find them. Might get some seafoam, try some seafoam trees. I've not used that before. And well, try various different types of trees out and see what works. And yeah, you can get the fire buckets as well. So yes, I can buy lots of stuff, and some of those items are little brass kits that involve a bit of work to build and paint, which is great. But also thought, is there anything I can make myself? Hence, I think I'm going to get some plasticard and give it a go. So I just started messing around and chopping up some bits of cardboard, and just had a very quick first attempt, and yeah, just with cardboard and a craft knife and a bit of super glue. At the start of that, right at the start of the platform, there's this sort of metal movable gate, or what would you call it, barrier, which is in the GWR colour, which I've forgotten the name of. It's that sort of peachy-ish colour. So yeah, I think a bit of paint on there, and that wouldn't look too bad. So as I say, I might get some plasticard and have another go and see if I can do it a bit neater. But I think things like that, and the sort of the flower baskets, can be just cubes of cardboard with some sort of scenic scatter stuff stuck on and painted. So things like that I can make myself. And also the sign you saw in the video, I managed to find it. I don't know if this will focus on it, because I've printed it out pretty accurately to scale, so you can see. Trust me, it is the same sign. And it's actually come out pretty well to say it's printed so small. So yeah, just cut that out and stick it on a bit of plasticard sort of base to make up the actual frame to the sign. So yeah, lots of little things I can do like that. So as you can see in the shed, it's a little bit of a mess. There's bits and pieces everywhere. So, and in the garage I've had this leftover chipboard from some sort of, it was part of when we did the kitchen. There were some bits of chipboard left over, sort of extra shelves that we didn't need and things like that. So combining those two things, I've done a little side project to try and start getting a bit more organised in here and have a bit of a tidy up. So I've built these little shelving units out of the spare chipboard, and it's probably easier to show you on this one because it can just slide out and I can get at what I need because I've stuck it on casters. So yeah, spent a couple of quid on casters. I already had the wood and the screws, so that'll be a nice useful storage space, and obviously I've done it the right height to go underneath the layout, so that can be slid in and out. So yeah, just need to get organised and put some stuff on there now in terms of sorting through stock boxes and throwing away a lot of empty boxes and stuff over there. Definitely time to get organised. So the cleanup has commenced. Just moving everything into the middle so I can start sorting through stuff, and got everything out of there so I can give it a good clean. So yeah, by next time we should have a nice clean organised shed, which should help smooth the progress on the layout, because I can't even get from one end of the shed to the other at the moment. So thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.